Good evening. My name is Aidan Cleverly and I am a committee member of the Gibraltar Socialist Labour Youth, the youth wing of the Gibraltar Socialist Labour Party. Over the past few years, the youth section has been very active in the organisation of numerous social and charitable events. Most importantly, however, we played a fundamental role in the run-up to the 2015 general election, and I am happy to say many of our committee members were highly active during the Stronger In campaign for the EU referendum. On the 30th of November, the GSLY held their annual general meeting, and I am proud to have been elected chairman. Our committee consists of 13 dedicated individuals from a diverse range of backgrounds who are ready to continue working for Gibraltar and carry the Gslp banner into the new generation. Moreover, the GSLY has an extremely wide base of members, as every person between the ages of 15 to 30 who are members of the Gslp automatically become members of its youth section. As Joe stated yesterday, the Gslp family stretches over 5 generations. Unfortunately, I do not fall within that category, but I am a third generation member. I come from a family who, on both sides, have supported and continue to support the Gslp. My late grandfather, a former minister and mayor of Gibraltar, Robert Moore, was with Joe at the start of the party. My grandfather was a member of the trade union, the CPSA, who fought the pay parity battle in Gibraltar. As a result, and along with many other CPSA and TWGU members, were locked out for 7 months by the MOD when they refused to give an undertaking to cease taking industrial action in pursuance of their pay claim. What this tells me is, had I not been a socialist by conviction, biologically I would have. It's in my DNA. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away before his time at the age of 57 while serving in opposition in 1998. As a result, in the 1999 by-election, Liberal Party leader Dr. Joseph Garcia won the popular vote and the seat. This paved the way for the current Gslp Liberal administration. Like most of my generation, I was fortunate enough to go to university in the UK to further my studies. Many, however, are unaware that it was the Gslp who campaigned, whilst in opposition, for statutory scholarships for all students who were accepted into a UK university. The government at the time thought the idea was ludicrous, claiming there was not enough talent in Gibraltar, that we would be pouring money down the drain, saying we would be scraping the bottom of the barrel. Well, some barrel it was, a few students then, and over 950 now. Although I managed to successfully complete my studies, I come from a working class background and acknowledge that I would not be in the position that I am in today had it not been for the first Gslp government, and for that I am grateful. But times are now very different to those my grandfather and Joe grew up in, but there are many continuing and new challenges coming our way. For example, on the 23rd of June, Gibraltar went to the polls and voted to remain within the European Union by a majority of 96%. Unfortunately, the result did not go in our favour and we will be forced to leave the European Union. There is much uncertainty as to the deal that will be arranged for us, and only time will judge the results. But whatever happens, we will make a success of it, as we have done in the past, because Gibraltarians never surrender. And to our neighbour, their petty threats will not intimidate us. They can try to blackmail us and attempt to force us into submission, but as history demonstrates, those tactics simply do not work. Gibraltar will not only never pay the sovereignty price for access to a market, Gibraltar's sovereignty has no price. One of our main objectives that has been a dismal failure thus far is delisting ourselves from the United Nations list of non-self-governing territories. In the year 2021, we will be entering into the 4th international decade for the eradication of colonialism, and it's time to put an end to it once and for all. The deliberate inaction from the UN has contributed to the growing problems with our neighbour, and our removal from the list of colonies is long overdue. The next generation needs to continue fighting to remove us from a list that gives Spain the opportunity to raise the question of Gibraltar's sovereignty at the UN on an annual basis. Self-determination is our right. I, along with those in the GSLY, will be fighting vehemently as Joe, my grandfather, and many others did before us. There is still a lot of work to do, which is why it's important not just to vote for the Gslp, but to become actively involved. We are living in a time of uncertainty where there is a growing anti-establishment attitude where people are rejecting the status quo at whatever cost. This is demonstrated by the EU referendum results, the presidential elections, the rise of popularity of the National Front in France, the result of the constitutional referendum in Italy, the changing political attitudes in Germany, the rise of Podemos in Spain, and so on. So what better time is there to get involved to defend and ensure the prosperity of our people and the right to our land? Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future." So let us be an example to the world and continue working for a better future. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Thank you and good night.